score like Ronaldo. No pain, no gain. Trying to win the cup for the love of the game.
Kick it like Dembele, I run like Mbappe. On the wing like Olise, hat trick like I'm Messi. World Cup in the USA, from Europe to NA. No Vietnam, that's okay. Shoot the ball and say ole ole, ole ole.
Everybody stand up right now, it's World Cup. Stand up right now, bring your hands in the air, cause it's World.
Ole ole, ole ole, ole ole, ole ole, ole ole, ole ole, ole ole. It's time to play. We celebrate our favorite game.
World Cup, I'm trying to play football. Trying to score like Ronaldo. No pain, no gain. Trying to win the cup for the love of the game.
Kick it like Dembele, I run like Mbappe. On the wing like Olise, hat trick like I'm Messi. World Cup in the USA, from Europe to NA. No Vietnam, that's okay. Shoot the ball and say ole ole, ole ole, ole ole, ole ole, ole ole, ole ole.
Ole, ole, I'm tryna score me a goal when I play. I'm tryna hop in that game, do a bicycle.
It's okay. I got you, buddy. Stay with me, Sticks.
Heroes never die.
The cavalry's here! Nerf this!
You completely different. I just think people, they like look at you as a joke when you're just super overweight, like look at you like you're like disgusting, like you smell. People treat good looking people differently than they treat not good looking people. I think that's just how people work, and it's sad that's how it is. But the biggest thing, the most unexpected thing that I have experienced from losing weight is my penis size. Yes, that's right. I think I gained like an inch. When you lose weight, people treat you completely different. I just think people...
Apparently you can go from 0 to a complete site in just a single prompt with Wix Harmony. I don't know if this is going to be possible. Or vibe coding meets
Fortnite finally listened and nerfed the cube rifle, but did they nerf it enough, or is it still going to ruin reload? We also have rumors that Fortnite could be adding crowdfunding, which would completely change the future of Fortnite as an esport. I also want to talk about who dominated and who did poorly in this week's Div Finals, because some really big teams missed out, but we are looking at one of the best Div Finals we've ever seen. These drop maps are ridiculous. There's a lot to talk about. Let's jump into it. We're kicking off with some good news. The cube rifle has been nerfed. Now, unfortunately, I don't think the nerf is quite strong enough, but I'll let you guys be the judge. So the hotfix is the cost of firing a cube from a cube rifle has been increased by 25%. So instead of taking 4 medium ammo to fire the cube, it now takes 5. Little bit of a nerf, but the reload's pretty quick. That's still going to let you spam a lot of cubes very, very quickly. The environmental damage, the structure damage of the cubes has been decreased as well. The standard cube projectile by 16%, so from 120 down to 100, and then the detonated cube projectile by 30%, so 250 down to 175. So it is doing a decent amount less structure damage, but it still does the same amount of player damage. It's still going to do 120 damage if you shoot the cube afterwards and make it explode. And with how much splash damage it does, like how big the radius is on the cube when you shoot it, yeah, it's doing 30% less structure damage when you do that, but you can still absolutely obliterate builds. So I don't think this is going to make a huge difference. I think most pros are still going to run it. It is a nerf, so it is making it a bit better, but I'm honestly kind of hoping Fortnite just removes this gun. I don't see a world where the cube rifle can be in the meta and be balanced. Like, it either just doesn't do its purpose, which is like obviously shooting the cubes and having that effect, but any way that it does that, it's going to be broken. Like, I think Fortnite just needs to learn from lessons in the past. Anytime there is an explosive weapon in competitive, especially a pretty much infinite explosive weapon, there's never going to be a way to balance it. If they nerf it so much that it basically becomes a useless weapon, then it's just going to clog up the loot pool anyway. So I do think, as much as I do argue that you need to try to nerf weapons, not just vault them, I think this is a gun that just doesn't belong in competitive. Infinite explosions just are never going to be liked by comp players or that skillful. And I'm kind of hoping Fortnite realizes that in heats and then maybe removes it for the finals. But the finals are only 2 days after heats. The schedule this week is a little bit crazy. We have the elite heats on Friday, we have div finals on Saturday, and then we have elite finals on Sunday. So Fortnite only really have 1 day to remove it between heats and finals if they realize it's still too broken. So fingers crossed, but let me know in the comments down below. Do you think this nerfs enough? Do you think it shouldn't get nerfed? Should it get nerfed more? Should it get vaulted? I want to hear your guys' thoughts as well. In other exciting news, and this is about Rocket League, but it could be a huge change for Fortnite. Rocket League, for the first time ever, is introducing crowdfunding. So coming May 19th, the Rocket League Paris Major Bundle, all net sales will be going to the competing players and teams. No cap, no ceiling. Now, if you don't know why that's such a big deal, crowdfunding is basically the idea that a video game can put out an item in the store that players can purchase, and the money goes towards the prize pool, or in this case, Rocket League, the teams as well. Now, the other game that does this with crazy success is Dota. Dota has the highest prize pools of any esports tournament because it's crowdfunded. The top 30 highest earning esports players in the history of esports are all Dota players except for Booga because of this. And the idea is, if Fortnite's doing it, well, if Epic's doing it with Rocket League, why wouldn't they do it with Fortnite? Like, they're making this bundle where all the prize money is going towards it. What's stopping them from just making an FNCS skin and all the sales go towards the prize pool? This would be huge. Now, I would love Fortnite to do not just like the LAN gets the prize money or FNCS. I would love it for it to be like a community tournament as well. Maybe like half the money goes towards a LAN for the top pros and half the money goes towards, like, you know, a Winter Royale style tournament. So it really does get the community engaged and then runs an awesome tournament for them as well. Like, if that came out, I would be telling all of you guys to go buy it in the store, do this, do that. Everyone would promote it, and it's just a win-win. It's really healthy to kind of increase the prize pools, but if the comp community is not supporting it, then they don't get as much prize money. If the comp community supports it, which I know they will, it'll get even more prize money. It really does just feel like a win-win, and I can't see why if Epic's doing it with Rocket League, they won't do it with Fortnite, but we'll see. Let's talk about Div Cup finals. Before we talk about who qualified and where they're dropping, let's talk about who missed out. And we have, again, some big names this week. So we have Darman Damas coming in 51st, Trulex and Chicho in 52nd, Asarax in 55th, Shark and Teeny in 70th. I'll come back to that. Pradaj and Bimbo in 71st, Yanis and Cheaton in 80th, Seti and Combek in 90th, Ping and Wox in 97th, Noah Rezon in 99th, Huddy Fishy in 112th. So neither the Wonky Land teams made it to finals. Sinet and Giras in 133rd. We have Pink and Frosty in 135th. Mongrel and Lixium in 136th. Queasy and Velry in 204th. And then Tayson didn't play. So going back to pick out some of these, we had Shark and Teeny in 70th. Now, Shark and Teeny just didn't play good enough to be fair, but they did also get really unlucky at the end of the tournament. Teeny crashed in the bus on, I think it was like their 20th game or so, and they thought they had an extra game in their back pocket. So going into their last game, which they didn't realize was their last game, they needed a 30 kill win. Instead, they went for like a 7 kill win, and they got it. I was watching the replays, and I was telling my chat, like, there's no way they know this is their last game. If anyone's going to at least try and drop a 30 bomb to qualify, it's going to be Shark and Teeny. And they just played way too passive. And then Shark tweeted out this, which pretty much just explains that they didn't even know that was their last game. Otherwise, they would have at least tried to go for the 30 bomb. So they did get quite unlucky, but again, across 20 plus games, across 2 days, Shark and Teeny realistically should be past the point of qualifying without that last game. So it was a rough week for them. Bit of an edit here. I've realized Shark has since deleted the tweet that I was referring to. Basically, he just was freaking out saying they should have had an extra game, and he didn't realize. Sorry, the tweet has been deleted. Mongrel and Lixium had a really good day one, the day I didn't watch. I took day 1 off so I could organize some stuff for Dusseldorf, which I haven't really announced yet, by the way. Probably a weird way to announce in the video. I will be heading to Dusseldorf. If you guys didn't see, I got a streamer booth. I am one of the official co-streamers at Germany for Summit. I will be there every single day in the player room from Tuesday until Sunday, making crazy content from the stadium. Bucky be alongside me, bringing Fred on. I'm organizing a bunch of tournaments, 1v1s, 2v2s, 4v4s, all the stuff you guys want to see. I'm sorry I haven't announced that yet, but I took day 1 off to organize stuff for that, and Mongol and Lixium had a very rough start. Their first few games were awful. Then they came back with a huge comeback, jumped up. They're inside top 50 going into day 2, and day 2 just didn't really go their way. They have announced now they've split up, which, again, not super surprising if you watch their streams. The vibes weren't really there even when they were doing well, but we now have another week with so many big names missing out on EU. It wasn't just EU though. We did have some big teams miss out on NA as well. We had Epic Whale and Pump in 64th, Cole and Madden in 70th, another LAN team, Reed and Cooper in 75th. Now, Reed and Cooper had a really rough day 1, which put them in a rough spot day 2, especially with Age and Ritual Q sniping them. Age and Richie pretty much spent day 2 Q sniping them out of qualifying because they wanted to get Latte uncontested. Some people saying, you know, maybe they should have let them qual so they get the practice. Reed has now come out and said that he is now going to be trying to grief them out of EWC, because last week when they were like top 20 on day 2 and they easily had the chance to try and Q snipe Age and Ritual because they needed like 2 wins in their last few games, Reed and Cooper didn't do that to them, so he's kind of pissed they did it back to him. But again, it's the politics of teams. I'll leave it between them, but Reed and Cooper may be going to get a bit messy towards Age and Ritual. We saw Kingling and Craze also miss out in 87th. Oliver with his new duo Neo in 128th, and Aviv and Cam, our first time seeing the duo who will be playing at LAN. I explained it already, but if you guys don't know, Skittles is not attending LAN. We don't know why, and Cam was offered a bunch of fills he could choose from, and he chose Aviv. Unfortunately, their first showing together is a 206th. Looking at the teams that did do well across both days, we had Swizzy Pixie coming in first on EU on 985, Fastroki and Kiro on 962, Cringe and Twy on 962, and then Focus and Thomas on 938. Looking at NA, we had Harvey and Aminished on 1,179, dropping 195 eliminations across the tournament. This duo is looking very primed up coming into Dusseldorf. We had Listen and Batman Joe in second on 971, and then Acorn Bolts on 934. We had Shadow Virgo in 4th, Ages and Ritual in 5th, Focus and Thomas coming 10th on NA. So Focus and Thomas came 4th on EU and 10th on NA, which is just insane. The EU drop map looks quite interesting. First off, Wonkyland has created a bit of a power vacuum. Without Shark or Huddy, we now have Hellfire and Feroxy versus Adian and Zolx and Mustache and Chuck. So 3 teams going there. I mean, a lot of people are going to pick Feroxy to win and as being one of the most well-respected off-spawn players, but that is going to be a very messy off-spawn for sure. We do have a bit of a LAN preview. iDrop and Podesize teams going at it on the split next to Wonky Land. Now, this isn't really going to happen unless both teams make finals, because iDrop Marius are playing on day 1. If they don't qualify, they will go up against Podesize Sato on day 2. We have quadruple contested Painted Palms. Not really sure why this is happening. Yapko versus Howley versus Rashi versus Krate. We have some big uncontested POIs as well. Mr. Savage and Velo at this point are uncontested, looking very strong. Swizzy Pixie uncontested at mid-map. Vico, Malabuka, and Frigid. We have Nebs and Nathan down at Humble. Focus Thomas over Riptide. Sky and Scroll on North Boulevard. Curve and Veno on South Boulevard, because even though they didn't make elite heats, they did make this div finals. Thankfully, the NA stocks are about to be in the toilet, but as you can see, the south side of the map, super uncontested. Everyone down here is vibing. Chap and Flicks here uncontested. It really is just everyone going at it on the north of the map. We have triple contested Sandy, so Chino versus Wheat versus Country. We have even the Mountain, Acorn Mountain being triple contested. Twek versus Vanya versus Truly, so that does mean Truly and Gonzo have stopped contesting Swizzy Pixie at Dark Dominion and are instead triple conning the Mountain, which means if that doesn't go well, they might actually come back and contest Swizzy. We'll have to see. I can't imagine triple con Mountain's going to go particularly well, but this final's definitely going to be a spicy one to watch because some of these spawn fights are looking ridiculous. Looking at the NA drop map, not too many huge spawn fights. We do have EU causing some issues. If you look on this west side of the map, we have Focus and Thomas holding down their Riptides drop across the globe. They're going to be going up against Booga, Threats, and Veer Slepsy, which is kind of interesting because Threats and Veer were obviously ex-teammates. Don't know if there's any love lost there, where there's gonna be a bit of a grief fest, maybe there's a grudge there. I'm not entirely sure. We have Cringe and Twy trying to hold down Humble Hills against Muzz and Sphinx, and then Kamihari trying to hold down their split against Mason and Resi. So just pretty much all the EU teams that qualified going their usual drops against the NA teams at those drops. We do have some huge names uncontested. This will be a very, very tough finals to win. Peterborough and Poyo uncontested at Squibbly, Colton Rapid uncontested at Dark Dominion, Clicks and Higgs at Wonky, Scare and Osid on North Frigid, Shadow Virgo South Frigid, Aegis Ritual getting Latte. We get to see how well they perform, maybe proving to us why they want this drop spot so bad they're willing to contest Reed and Cooper for it. Golden Ozone just to their south, Curly Rise their east, Victor V and Kanata, the NA West champions, have an aura like that on Central, holding down their drop spot. Harvey and Diminished on their split, Visuals and Braids, just so many Summit LAN teams qualified going their drops uncontested. Acorn and Bolts up on the mountain. This is going to be an unbelievably hard finals to win. Josh and Zoe have claimed North Boulevard. Obviously, Curve and Venom moving to EU, so they're not playing. So very good chance of Josh and Iomzo doing well in this finals. But when Iomzo was asked where he plans on going in summer finals if he makes it, he actually said Ripped Tides. But he did say that when he was asked by Focus Updates, so he could have been trying to just, you know, piss him off because, you know, he obviously likes Focus. So not sure how much we can believe that, but Riptides would make sense in the LAN finals. It's going to be one of the best PYs that is only got one team at it right now potentially, but we'll have to wait and see. But this NA finals has the potential to be as exciting, if not more than the last one, because it's going to be really, really hard to win.
We have got to the point where literally anybody can build a fully working app without knowing how to code. This is Base 44. This is a first look at the current industry-leading AI app builder, and you wouldn't believe the kind of apps that people are creating. Smart nutrition apps, inventory trackers, onboarding tools, you name it. And if the only thing stopping me from making the app is the idea, then why not build an app that gives me endless app ideas? So let's make it. Pro tip, I draft the full app spec in ChatGPT, and then I drop the prompt directly into Base 44. It gives me super detailed structure. And here it is. Everything I laid out in detail as it goes. This is pretty awesome, but I want to make it playful. So I'm going to add a swipe left and swipe right interface. The same usability we all know. Now I'm going to add one more feature. So every idea that I favorite will turn into a kickoff prompt to start building the app itself. And that's it. Just come up with your idea, any idea, and Base 44 will do the rest. So go to Base 44 and create apps with your name on it.
The Esports World Cup plans just ended, and we have a whole bunch of huge teams that just missed out on heats, including multiple teams that are already qualified to LAN. Is this an issue with the meta, and does Reload just suck right now? We also have big teams now contested in heats, Clicks going up against Acorn, and Peterbot has already switched his new drop spot. If you haven't been paying attention, I'll go through what all the best drops are on Reload right now and who I think is qualifying out of each heat. There's a lot to talk about. Let's jump into it. Before we even talk about Reload, I do want to talk about a development in Summit LAN. We are going to have fills. So originally we had Cam qualify alongside Skittles, and Cam instantly tweeted out saying he's going to need a fill for LAN because Skittles isn't going. Now, I know you guys are going to ask me, why Skittles never go to LAN? I don't know. It's just a thing that's known in the Fortnite scene that Skittles doesn't want to go to LAN even if he qualifies. It's why it kind of hurts his team options, but now he played with someone qualified and he's decided he's not going. But originally we heard Epic say that there's not going to be any fills. Cam is going to have to play with Skittles. It looks like that has changed. Cam has now tweeted out he is playing with Aviv. So not only do they have fills, they're actually allowing fills from NA. Normally Fortnite gets the fills from the region the tournament's being hosted on, so it's easier to travel them out. It's cheaper, and again, a lot of people wouldn't complain about picking an EU best player because EU's the best region. But it looks like Cam got the choice. He picked up Aviv. They're looking very, very solid. I think that duo could actually surprise a lot of people, but it looks like it means if other teams or players need a fill, they're going to be able to get one. Now, before we even talk about who qualified, who didn't, who's dropping where, I want to talk about Reload as a whole, because I kind of gave my opinion after watching Opens, and things have changed a little bit. So firstly, I don't think the map is as bad as a lot of people say. I think there's a few factors. Slurp Rush map was extremely good, and we had it for so long, and a lot of Fortnite players just don't like change. I don't know if you like hearing that, but come on, we got to admit sometimes as a community, we just don't like something because it's new. Secondly, though, the actual color scheme and the vibe of the map is a bit ugly. So it makes you think the map is worse when you first jump into it because it just looks worse. But as I've now started paying attention to more of the drop spots, more of the POI, I started looking at where the pros are dropping and how the high level gameplay is going to play out. I don't think it's as bad as people are making out. I think Slurp Rush might have been better just because, again, all the slurp around the map really made like a good comeback mechanic if you got knocked out of the game, which I think is good in reload. It makes the reload factor actually feel relevant, but I do think this map is going to be solid for high level competitive. I can imagine ranked in pubs is very miserable fighting a lot of these POIs. I haven't been playing reload much myself, so I can't answer that, but I imagine with how the POIs are shaped and how the rooms are and, you know, how some of the underground areas are, it's probably a bit miserable in pubs and ranked. But for competitive, I truly do think it's good, and I think it will be fine. But I also think the meta right now is also good. Chill before you hit the comments, except for the cube rifle. Outside of the cube rifle, I think the reload meta is honestly really solid. Now they've changed out the Morphi pump for the regular pump. I don't know if they increased the drop rate or it's just because they added the iron pump, but I feel like people are finding pumps way more often and it makes the early game and mid game a lot less frustrating. The biggest issue right now by far is the cube rifle. This thing has got to go. I'm sorry. I'm usually one who's asking for things to be nerfed, not just vaulted. Like, you know, it's a new item. It's a little bit fun, but I just don't see a way where basically an infinite RPG assault rifle that also works as an assault rifle. So you're not even giving up like a slot to carry an RPG. You can use it like an assault rifle and then use it like an RPG. I just don't see a world where that's ever going to be balanced or good for the game competitively. If you like it in casual gameplay or you think it's fun to use in pubs, I'm fine with that. But in competitive, I think the cube rifle kind of has to go. And there's a lot of pros who absolutely hate it. Like, again, pros hate on a lot of things in Fortnite. Again, I try to be a little bit more kind of middle of the line. You know, I try to speak for the casuals and the pros, but this one, I just don't think Reload Elite Series is going to be inherently competitive with this gun in the game. I love Elite Series. This is the 3rd of 4 qualifiers. There's so many huge names that need to qualify right now. And after watching today's play-ins, there's some games where you can do everything right. But if you go into 2 people with a cube rifle, or if they're on high ground with a cube rifle, you just lose. Like, there really doesn't feel like there's a lot of counterplay or skillful interaction with that gun. So I'm hoping Epic do something about it. I feel like with all the feedback they're getting from pros, they probably will, but
tired of having to stream in 720p in StreamYard or having to pay more to get 1080p quality? We got you. Start using EVMux, which is a web-based live streaming tool that allows you to be able to stream and record in 1080p full HD completely for free. Go to evmux.com and create your free account today.
I am Noah. My job is your life.
I guess we'll have to wait and see. All right, now who made it through the EWC play-ins? Now, because not every single big team made it through, especially on EU, we are missing some really big names. We have Pink and Mustache missing out, coming in 82nd, missing out by 2 places. We have Curve and Veno coming in 96. So yes, the NA FNCS champions heading over to EU, playing their first tournament in EU, and unfortunately they don't make it to heats. Now, Curve did have to say that he doesn't find EU players any harder. He doesn't think that the players are considerably better. He just thinks that you do need more points, and if they're on NA, they would have had enough points, which does make it harder, but he doesn't feel like this is some wake-up call where, oh man, we got destroyed and we're just not good enough. It's just how it goes. Now, again, Veno and Curve were going pretty ham. They were dropping really big kill games, even going above the kill cap, which, yes, the kill cap is very frustrating. I do not think play-ins should have a kill cap. We have teams like Peterbot and Poyo dropping like 36 kill wins, and 26 of those kills just don't mean anything. I know you think in Aussie, well, they just need to play the format, but I think the whole point of Reload is playing super aggressive and farming people and getting rebooted and coming back and dropping back in. Like, I feel like that's what it should feel like, at least for me personally. And I think if the format was a little bit more kill-centric, I think Curve and Veno would have qualified, but unfortunately, they are going to have to sit back and watch. That means they can lock in on Battle Royale for the rest of the month and lock in on the LAN event, which isn't the end of the world for this duo. Anyone right now is trying to qualify through the Elite Series has to focus on Reload, but then also get ready for LAN at the end of the month. So it's not the end of the world to have Curve and Veno be able to just focus on one, but I'm sure they're still pretty upset. We have Eyedrop and Marius missing out, coming in 112th, Asta and Rax in 117th, Pix and Ghost in 121st, Queasy and Velry in 127th. Queasy actually was inside qual for the majority of the tournament, unfortunately having a rough finish on day 2. Yapko and Panzer in 152nd. Now remember, Yapko and Panzer have already qualified for the Esports World Cup, so this is 2 proven reload players who are struggling in this meta. We also had Nefrizzi and Vanya come 205th, Khan and Faded in 223rd. Again, Khan and Faded, another one of the 6 teams qualified to EWC. So 2 of the 6 teams on EU who've already qualified to LAN didn't even make heats in this meta. So it does have a little bit to say about whether this meta is particularly skillful. But Mongol and Lixium unfortunately also missing out on 260th. Mongol and Lixium almost brought it back. They did get it to the point where if they got into their last game and they got 60 points, they would have qualified, but they didn't get their last game in time and unfortunately missed out. As for the teams that did well on both regions, we had Dam and Damus almost break 1,000 points, getting 937. Akira Karama on 930. Cringe and Twy on 926. Sky and Scroll 883. Focus Thomas 882. So a lot of our big teams that have been popping off are doing well as well. So I don't want to give excuses for every team that just didn't qualify and say, oh, the meta's buns, there's no skill. And a lot of the best teams are still coming out on top. If you look at NA, we had Shadow and Vogue at 898, Curly and Rise 896, Enough and Salt popping off up there. Peterbot and Pollo did stop playing at the very end. They ran out of games because they were just running it down so hard. We had Cold and Rapid come in 7th, Clicks and Higgs in 8th. But if you look at the elims, Peterbot and Pollo 294, almost 300 eliminations. To put that in perspective, Shadow and Virgo in first got 197. They almost had 100 extra elims on top. So a lot of the teams that have been dominating reload are still dominating. So there's definitely skill in the meta. It's just, again, the cube rifles can get a little bit obnoxious. Now, I'm going to go through the heats list here. I'm going to give a bit of my predictions, but again, I think the drop map's going to change a fair bit for a few reasons. Because since this map is brand new, we have not seen a single set lobby tournament on this map, and there has been no scrims. We're kind of going into a blind. I took a look at Asarian and used their drop map to kind of see where all the loot was, and I kind of mapped out which POIs I thought were the best around the map, and you'll start to see a trend here with where a lot of the tier 1 teams are going, but for the most part, teams are just trying to figure it out, and this map has a lot of POIs that are really big with a ridiculous amount of loot in them that could really be split, but you're going to be splitting really close to a lot of other teams around you. The building layout does help, where a lot of these buildings...
Paying for a dozen different AI subscriptions? That's over $3 grand a year. Stop. Meet the new AI playground inside PixArt. Over 90 top-tier models from 24 providers, all in one place. Sora 2, VEO 3.1, Kling 3.0, and more. One prompt bar, wildly different, mind-blowing results. Not an AI expert? Just describe what you want. Auto mode instantly picks the perfect model for your idea. Want to go big? Chain models together and create epic video sequences up to 148 seconds, the longest on the market. Generate, edit, and publish without ever leaving PixArt. It's your complete creative suite, updated weekly with the newest models. 130 million active users. No idle subscriptions, just transparent credits. Pay for what you use. AI Playground is live now. Go play.
In the next 5 seconds, you'll see an idea go from sketch to clay to shape, and become a website. Acting on your curiosity feels like a way to bend reality. Wix Harmony works the same way. You just describe an idea to Aria, Wix's new website agent, like you're brainstorming out loud, and then it becomes real. From there, you can take on the reins to adjust it as you like, because all the ideas you have should have a place in the world. Whether it's clay or whatever you're dreaming up, it all starts the same way. From your mind to your online space, this is a new way to create a website.
Kind of like jails, and they're big and there's not a lot of sight lines into them, so you kind of have to push in them to fight, which could make it easy to get loot and get out of a POI. But for the most part, I think pros are trying to figure out a drop they can go and lock it down all to themselves. So as far as the heats go, I'm just going to give my ranking of the heats on EU and NA. I think on EU, the hardest heat is definitely heat number 1. I think heat 2 and 3 are about similar. They're kind of like a solid medium, where heat 4 is the easiest. It's EU, all the heats are going to be difficult, but I think that's the way it goes. On NA, these are actually the most well-distributed heats I think I've ever seen. There is no one heat that is just like the Thanos heat. Some of them are tough. Heat 1 that has clicks in it definitely has like 4 really solid teams. Heat 1 is looking probably the hardest out of all of them. I think Heat 3 is also still quite hard as well, whereas Heat 2 is a bit more on the medium side, and I think Heat 4 is the easiest. But like I said, I think this is probably the best spread we've ever had from heats, and realistically, I think every tier 1 team, as long as they play well, should make it through. There's no heat where I see, oh man, there's 7 really good teams and only 5 spots, because again, in case you guys don't know, the format of heats, the top 5 teams on each heat go through to finals. So there isn't one heat on either region where I think, oh man, there is just no way that all 5 of these teams can qual. Someone's gonna have to miss out. They have been pretty well split. Taking a look at heat number 1 for NA, again, if you look why it's so difficult, we have 4 very big teams in here. We have Clicks and Higgs, who are actually going up against Acorn and Bolts. This is gonna be very interesting. While this POI is one of the best on the map right now, there is a bunch of loot there. It is also one of the ones that is the closest. It is really difficult to split this POI, and if Clicks and Higgs and Acorn Bolts drop there, I think they are going to be scrapping out and fighting, which could be very messy. Neither of these teams are qualified to land right now, and if they do go at it, there is a world where neither of them, or at least definitely not both of them, make it through the finals, because there are other big teams. Reed and Cooper just dropping to their south on a really good split uncontested, and then Shadow Virgo dropping mid-map also uncontested. So if any of the other good teams in this heat, like Aloe and Rezi, could definitely take a spot. We could have QK and Cantrap take one. It is a more top-heavy heat, but that's what makes it more difficult in this format. It doesn't matter how good, you know, the bottom 5 teams are in a heat. It matters how good the top 5 are. And if Acorn and Bolts, Clicks and Higgs fight every single game, things are going to get messy really quick. Heat 2 has some solid names as well. We have Harvey and Aminish, who are unconned on their split. We have Cold and Rapid down to the south of the map, also uncontested. I think this drop, Cold and Rapid are going, is going to be one of the best drops that a lot of tier 1 teams are going to try and lock down, because I think it's a POI that has a bunch of loot. It's right near the teleporter, but it also can be locked down entirely to yourself. I don't think it's a POI where 2 players or 2 teams are going to be able to drop there, and I think that's what's going to draw a lot of people. Shark and Teeny are also dropping here, for example. I'll talk about EU in a second, but I think this POI is going to draw a lot of big names. We do also have Chris and Drew, who are locking down the entire POI that Clicks and Acorn are fighting over. So apparently Chris and Drew are just like that. Again, it is a very solid drop. Curly and Rise will be contested, going up against Aoxy and Jojo. This POI on the far south of the map has by far the most amount of loot. It's where Peterborough was originally going to be dropping, but it was actually funny. On stream, I was looking at the map and I told my chat, there is no way Pete drops here, because it's just going to be too hard to not have like 3 or 4 teams drop here and just make it super messy. Like, you could drop here with another team and you could try and split it, but all it takes is one other team to drop in and start fighting, and things go out the window. And I think there's going to be a lot of other POIs that are better and easy to lock down. Harvey and a Minish drop is one of those drops that's really good to lock down here if you do just kind of want to get a really good amount of loot but not have the most loot on the map. If you look at heat number 3, we have Aegis and Ritual dropping mid-map uncontested. Well, I don't think this mid-map drop is the best. I think it's probably one of the best drops that doesn't have another really solid team going there, except for Shadow Virgo. If AIDS Ritual and Shadow Virgo both qual through, we'll have to see if one of them leaves. It is mid-map. It has a bunch of loot. You're probably thinking, Aussie, why is it so bad? It's kind of down in this big ditch, which makes it really hard to drop into without getting beamed. It also means the launch pad it has the least amount of value. The launch pad of this POI is down on the very floor of the POI, down in a cave, like it's down in a mine shaft. So even if you hit a like Fizzberry, you know, overdrive grenade pad to go as high as you can, you're still like only a couple 100 meters off the ground, or even like 100 meters, and you'll just get beamed by everyone. So it's mid-map, so it's solid, but I definitely don't think it's the best drop on the map. Josh and Yomzo going over at the dock split is looking very good. It is edge map. It doesn't have a teleporter, but it does have a really good amount of loot. And just like the drop I was talking about, the Cold and Rapid are going, I think it'll be a good drop that you can lock down all to yourself. We do have King and Craze being contested by Jerry's, which should be a very fun spawn fight to watch as well. Terum and Daxton, another team to look out for in this one. Muzz and Sphinx right now being contested by Skittles and Kixian. It is worth mentioning again, Muzz and Sphinx have qualified to LAN, so this heat does have 2 of the 4 teams qualified out of NA, the most of any of the heats. So again, heat 3 is also still looking very, very solid. And then we have heat 4, the Peterbot heat. Of course, everyone's going to know Peterbot and Pollo have now marked this split over on the east of the map. There is a bunch of loot here. There is a slurp truck. It is very solid because you can lock down all.
So with all these Hilton Honors points, I could stay for free. At the Waldorf Astoria in the Maldives?
Yep, Hilton Honors, babe.
Ooh, what about the Canopy in Paris?
Babe, Hilton Honors. How long has that been here?
And there's no blackout dates?
Hilton Honors, baby.
There's no way the Conrad Tulum's included.
When you want points that can take you anywhere,
Hilton Honors, babe.
Anytime, it matters where you stay. Hilton, for the stay.
All of it. Feroxy has also claimed this drop, and as we know, Pete and Feroxy seem to always take similar drops. Don't know if that's like a collaborative effort between both of them talking about it, or whether it just both fits their playstyles. It is a drop that's probably going to have 2 teams, I imagine, in a lot of heats or set lobbies that aren't, you know, contested by Peterbot and Pollo. Other teams will try and lock it down. I think people might try and take it from them. It is a drop that can 100% have enough loot for 2 teams, but it's not a big 50-50 drop. You can either swerve to one of the buildings, you can drop early, get the loot, and then it will turn into a full-blown fight, which usually rewards Peterbot and Pollo. In this heat, we have Jargu and Carillion dropping mid-map uncontested. Golden Ozone on the far northwest looking very good. Visuals and Braids uncon as well. Slepsy and Magma taking a big split. And then we do have some spawn fights to watch for here as well. G-Money Ishu versus Taki and Vert will be a very fun one to watch, but I have a feeling those teams will split. These teams have played together in the past and I believe are quite close, so I imagine there's a good chance they're going to split that POI. So getting top 5 in this heat number 4 could be quite dicey. Looking at the heats for EU, heat number 1, I mean, you're instantly going to notice one glaring issue. Half the splits have no one on them because we have 5 teams at the South POI. I mean, like I said, there is a bunch of loot at this POI, and there's going to be a lot of teams that want to try and get some of that loot, and that's exactly why I said I don't think Pete's going to drop here, because this is why. We have Vortrex, Huddy, Fant, Cheaton, and Avion's team going here. I've never seen a POI in the history of Fortnite have 5 teams dropping at it to the point where there's literally 2 splits on the map right now uncontested. Now, this is great because it's Mr. Savage's heat, so it looks like hopefully if everyone's griefing each other, it should make his top 5 a little bit easier, but there are some really good teams in this heat who are still uncontested. Shark and Teeny taking that spot down in the far southwest of the map. They've already qualified to land. They've got nothing to lose. That team will be running it down through this heat. I'm especially worried for Huddy and Fishy. Shark and Teeny do not like Huddy and Fishy after they've been contested all season at Wonky Land. So if they have any way to make sure Huddy and Fishy don't make it to land, I think Shark and Teeny are going to take that. So Savage and Velo are dropping uncontested on the far north of the map. Their POI is not that great. I believe they're also trying to take some of the loot outside of their POI to the south. There's like a little building that right now is on Xenox and Bimbo split that I think they want, which should round out their loot. It's not the best drop on the map by any means, but it's very solid and they could use it quite well. Vico Malabuka, uncontested, where Clicks and Acorn are fighting. So again, another tier 1 team realizing how good that drop is. Dam and Damus are over on the dock split that Iomzo was going. We also have Nebs and Nathan on a really big split that I think could do really well. Combek and Seti are in here as well. So again, when only top 5 make it through, heat 1 on EU is looking quite tough. Savage definitely could have gotten an easier heat. Heat number 2 on EU, we have Hari and Cammy on again. What many people are now probably going to call the Cammy split. This drop is really solid. It's where Reed and Cooper are going, if you remember. there is this kind of like vault underneath this this area that has like god chests, a bunch of barrels, and a bunch of loot. So this area looks even better than it actually is. We have Akira Kurama dropping on the southwest, just like Shark and Teeny. We have Chino and Pablo going up against Della and Bevies, the Danes versus the Swedes, which could be a really fun spawn fight to watch. We also have, again, another Danish versus Swedish battle in this heat. Strapped and Fredoxy up against Moneymaker and Finay, and a Peterbots drop. That should be a very fun one to watch. Everyone loves watching Fredoxy off spawn fight. I did ask him, I was like, yo, this is not really a 50-50 drop, which is what you normally prefer. This is going to be a lot more of a drawn out and scrappy fight. How do you feel about that? And Fredoxy said, yo, Strapped is a creative demon. We're just going to fight them once we loot up and we're going to win. So we'll see how that one goes. Hriss and Skivvy are uncontested as well. Shura pairs on a big split. So this heat is looking pretty tough as well. Heat number 3 on EU. Again, no kind of like 10 teams at one POI, but now we have 3 teams dropping down on that little POI that I said that I thought most teams are going to get uncontested, but it looks like when there's not a tier 1 player dropping there, it kind of creates a bit of a power vacuum. We have Misha versus Okram versus Keskeri, I believe that is. We do have Noya Tarps up against Heiku and Sui on the south part of the map. We do have a fun spawn fight to watch in this one though. Prism Casper versus Swizzy Pixie at the mid map. That's going to be really messy. Is not the POI I'd want to be fighting at, especially with big names like Chap and Flixie just nearby who could third party on their way in. No reason on keeping their run going right now. They qualified LAN together. They're doing their best to qualify EWC LAN because they've now locked down the entire POI to the north by themselves. Podosai and Sato are going out by the docks as well, which are looking really good for a top 5, keeping up their LAN qual run as well. Heat number 4 on EU. Again, Ping and Walks trying to fight over that drop on the southwest. Probably our biggest spawn fight of any of the heats. Focus and Thomas versus Sky and Scroll. Now remember, it's worth mentioning Sky and Scroll have qualified to LAN. Focus and Thomas haven't. And it was actually Thomas versus Queasy, if you guys remember, in I think it was Elite Series number 1 or maybe 2, where they were going at it down at Fort Crumpet. It kind of ended up griefing them out of qualing and it got really messy. It looks like Sky and Scroll are going to be doing the same thing here to Focus and Thomas. So we'll see. Focus and Thomas, I respect the confidence, but going up against, you know, the FNCS winners who have been dominating in this game mode as well and have qualled LAN when you haven't is an interesting strategy. Maybe they won't fight. Again, maybe there'll be a bit of love there between Sky Scroll and Thomas HD, the Danish brothers. I don't think they are particularly close. I don't think they've run in the same friend circles, but hey, maybe we'll see. We've got Turtle and Ziandi uncontested just to the south of the Esports World Cup plans just ended. It's not the best drop on the map by any means, but it's very solid and they could use it quite well. Vico Malabuka uncontested, where Clicks and Acorn are fighting. So again, another tier 1 team realizing how good that drop is. Dam and Damus are over on the dock split that Iomzo was going. We also have Nebs and Nathan on a really big split that I think could do really well. Combek and Seti are in here as well. So again, when only top 5 make it through, Heat 1 on EU is looking quite tough. Savage definitely could have gotten an easier heat. Heat number 2 on EU, we have Hari and Cammy on, again, what many people are now probably going to call the Cammy split. This drop is really solid. It's where Reed and Cooper are going, if you remember. There is this kind of like vault underneath this this area that has like god chests, a bunch of barrels, and a bunch of loot. So this area looks even better than it actually is. We have Akira Kurama dropping on the southwest, just like Shark and Teeny. We have Chino and Pablo going up against Della and Bevies, the Danes versus the Swedes, which could be a really fun spawn fight to watch. We also have, again, another Danish versus Swedish battle in this heat. Strapped and Fredoxy up against Moneymaker and Finay and a Peterbots drop. That should be a very fun one to watch. Everyone loves watching Fredoxy off spawn fight. I did ask him, I was like, yo, this is not really a 50-50 drop, which is what you normally prefer. This is going to be a lot more of a drawn out and scrappy fight. How do you feel about that? And Fredoxy said, yo, Strapped is a creative demon. We're just going to fight them once we loot up and we're going to win. So we'll see how that one goes. Hriss and Skivvy are uncontested as well. Shura pairs on a big split. So this heat is looking pretty tough as well. Heat number 3 on EU. Again, no kind of like 10 teams at one POI, but now we have 3 teams dropping down on that little POI that I said that I thought most teams are going to get uncontested, but it looks like when there's not a tier 1 player dropping there, it kind of creates a bit of a power vacuum. We have Misha versus Okram versus Keskeri, I believe that is. We do have Noya Tarps up against Heiku and Sui on the south part of the map. We do have a fun spawn fight to watch in this one though. Prism Casper versus Swizzy Pixie at the mid map. That's going to be really messy. Is not the POI I'd want to be fighting at, especially with big names like Chap and Flixie just nearby who could third party on their way in. No reason to keeping their run going right now. They qualified LAN together. They're doing their best to qualify EWC LAN because they've now locked down the entire POI to the north by themselves. Podosai and Sato are going out by the docks as well, which are looking really good for a top 5, keeping up their LAN qual run as well. Heat number 4 on EU. Again, Ping and Walks trying to fight over that drop on the southwest. Probably our biggest spawn fight of any of the heats. Focus and Thomas versus Sky and Scroll. Now remember, it's worth mentioning Sky and Scroll have qualified to LAN. Focus and Thomas haven't. And it was actually Thomas versus Queasy, if you guys remember, in I think it was Elite Series number 1 or maybe 2, where they were going at it down at Fort Crumpet. It kind of ended up griefing them out of qualing and it got really messy. It looks like Sky and Scroll are going to be doing the same thing here to Focus and Thomas. So we'll see. Focus and Thomas, I respect the confidence, but going up against, you know, the FNCS winners who have been dominating in this game mode as well and have qualled LAN when you haven't is an interesting strategy. Maybe they won't fight. Again, maybe there'll be a bit of love there between Sky Scroll and Thomas HD, the Danish brothers. I don't think they are particularly close. I don't think they've run in the same friend circles, but hey, maybe we'll see. We've got Turtle and Ziandi uncontested just to the south of Skyjump and Mumsy, another team to look out for. And honestly, I think these drop maps are going to change a little bit. We've got 5 days until heats, and I think they're going to change a lot. Teams are trying to figure out, scrambling, like, what's this POI? Where am I going? Yeah, I'll go here. Looks like there's a bunch of loot, and I don't think people even really figured out exactly what they're doing with Reload just yet, because we're on a brand new map. One thing that is worth mentioning, we have not gotten this from an official source just yet, but there are rumors that the Esports World Cup is being moved. Again, I am not going to be your source for news and political situations around the world, but you've probably, if you paid attention to the news, noticed there's, you know, some stuff going on in the Middle East right now, and the Esports World Cup is supposed to take place in Riyadh in a few months. So there are rumors right now, they are actually talking about moving EWC to Paris to take place in Europe.
With Base 44, a simple sentence becomes your website. Page after page.
Else's massive grant? Like, what the freak? This is insane. Like, chat, type 1 if they should have waited for the zero build update until a new season. Like, I love you, Fortnite, but like, how are you gonna add? You're making zero build a complete game mode at the end of a season. Like, we're about to have the next season on June 5th. Like, and they overhaul it on the final update of this season. By the way, this Overwatch update should have been mid-season. Can I get a fax if you agree? Again, I always glaze Fortnite, as y'all know, but I'm confused why this update was the last update of this season. Like, what are we doing? This is crazy. This should have been like in the middle of the season. This is crazy. Yes, also there's no fall damage this entire update in build and zero build. And if you have your pickaxe out for zero build, you have infinite sprint. It's wild. And an extra inventory slot called the pocket slot. And you start out with a pistol every game. Actually wild. Okay, someone just said there's 22 days until June 5th. And this is our final update of this season. You know, actually, I think Grant's wrong. 22 days? That's a lot of days. Therefore, they need to add a big update like this. You're right. You're right. You're right. Someone in the chat just said starting with a pistol is horrible. LMAO. Yo, TTV, have you used the pistol this season? Chat, who's going to let him know in the stream? Who's going to let him know in the stream? Who's going to let him know in the stream? I don't care if it's a gray pistol. Hey, yo, Red, we still got to do the Red. Can you at me later so we can talk? Guys, my designer that makes my emotes, her name is Red in the chat. Can everyone say hi to Red in the stream? She is bored right now. She just made a new emote for the Grant fam. Tell me why Red just made a bald Grant emoji. Drew you bald because I didn't win the giveaway. Thank you, Red. What? I'm dead. Guys, do we add it to the channel? Yes or no? Do we add it to the channel? Yes or no? Red just said I'm so bored. Oh my gosh. That's so funny. I love you, Red. Thank you for being awesome. Oh, man. That's hilarious. That is hilarious. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Guys, I don't know what they said, but it sounded like that. Dude, I just want to play Fortnite. One in the chat if all the sweats are waking up. One in the chat if they're all waking up now. Gosh darn it, it is 6:10 in the morning. Like, I didn't even get to play a game before the sweats got on. This is ridiculous. Holy, Grant, you remember me? What's up? Dude, I gotta add that emote for sure, for sure. So good. I'm hungry for some lunch. Yo, same. I'm so hungry. Yo, what up, XTG? How we doing today? The pistol's so good, it really is, yeah. So Max, thank you for saying, yo, how we doing? Wire servers down, brand new update, guys. It's almost ready. That was the gameplay trailer, by the way. Guys, the map changes in this update also go crazy as well. Like, if you're just tuning in, like, this is just some random map change right here. Wait, what is this? New smoke cloud grenade. Oh, yeah. Zero build, I'm telling you, like, has so many new, like, it's insane. Zero build goes crazy. Chat, check. Like, this is just this is the attention to detail that Fortnite's on right now. Look at this. Little cave action. Little cave action, chat, in the brand new update. So this is foreshadowing the brand new live event. We have a new live event, and I'm pumped. And this is a little outlook here. Now, guys, for the live event, chat, if you're on Team Ice King and Team Foundation, you will have different spots for the live event at the start. Type 1 if you hear me, chat. Y'all all hear me? So, this is very important news here. Want to make sure everyone's, locked in here. So, Team Ice King, y'all will have a spot over here. Team Ice King, y'all will all spawn over here. All right? Team Foundation, we are all going to spawn over here. I don't know. We've never had this in Fortnite history. Kind of crazy. Team Ice King, Team Foundation, 2 different spots on the Fortnite island for the start of the live event. Kind of crazy. What's poppin', Jar? Hello. Oh my gosh, big W. Is that a big W? It's kind of weird. Kind of weird. Also, here's a good look at that spot again, guys. Check out this underground cave. Bro, I'm so excited for this update. I just want to play so badly. Yo, that's so far down there. Oh my gosh, it's like below, chat. Oh, wait, it's invisible. Yo, type 1 if that's cool. Wait, what? So you can't see it from the outside. You can only see it from the inside. That's so sick. Fortnite, man. Hey, Grant, will the Grappler be back in Fortnite Battle Royale? Not yet, at least. But the movement is great, this update. And, of course, infinite sprint as well. So, yeah, it's crazy. Grant, can you verify? Yeah, servers are not live, guys. Servers are not live. Again, leakers tweet out instantaneously as well when they're live. Wait, did I add that guy?
Our action creates our motivation, not the other way around. This is what feeling alive feels like. Punch through the ceiling. Woo, that's spicy.
It's actually insane. Actually insane, chat. Yo, Blaze, what's good? How we doing today? Doom Guy, thank you for dropping in. Appreciate it. I know Foundation will be done. So we will spawn there, or we have to drop in there for the live event? I think it'll spawn you there, I assume. So you don't have to buy sprint from the board anymore, massive W. I mean, I guess if you want to sprint while holding out a weapon, you know, you can buy it still. Okay, let me set this for 6:30. Wait. So 47% of chat think the servers will be live by 6:30. 53% of you guys think the servers will be live not at 6:30. Everyone take your votes if you want to add to the poll, guys. Everyone take your vote. All you have to say is yes or no in the chat. All you have to say is yes or no. Dang, it's like 50-50. That's crazy. Last update, they went live at 7, but they had an issue. Like, I don't know what's going on. They were supposed to be live an hour ago. Oh, Epic Games public status report. Let's see what the deal is. Operational, under maintenance, under maintenance. Wait, guys. I might have an update for you guys. Oh. Okay. Okay, I have an update for you guys, but I don't know if I can say it. Anyways. Gabriella asked what G Fuel I'm drinking. Gabriella, I'm drinking the Berry Bomb can. It's actually really good. Again, guys, right now on the G Fuel website, there is a buy one, get one free. And of course, you can use code GRXNT for 30% off as well. But all anime tubs are buy one, get one free. So Dragon Ball Z, Naruto. Naruto, is that how you say it? Naruto? Yeah. So cop your G Fuel, man. Buy one, get one free. For the next 6 days. Buy one, get one free. That's a good deal. It is, but it's only going on for 6 days, I think. Yeah, buy one, get one free ends on the 21st. Oh, and you get cards, chat. Wait. Buy one, get one free. There we go. On the G Fuel website. And there's something else. Wait, what'd that say? Yeah, they're shipping it out to me. Yeah, chat, look at that. There's cards. Buy two, get cards. Buy any 2 items during the BOGO and get a free G Fuel pack of cards. That's sick. I know, right, Emmy? For real. Yeah, exclamation point G Fuel or link in the bio, and you get 30% off when you use code GRANT at checkout, GRXNT. That's actually lit. Or code XEN, XEN. One of the two. And again, if you haven't already heard of G Fuel, they have hydration, energy, tubs, Like they have it all, guys. They have cans. I'm drinking it right now. Supreme Hydration and Focus. This has 0 caffeine, 0 sugar, electrolytes. It's beautiful, man. Yeah, so caffeine free or caffeine, they have all that you can get. Yo, what's up, SG? How we doing today? Welcome, my friend. Hi, Riley. Hello. Guys, servers should go up soon, by the way. Official update for you guys. Servers should go live soon. I can't give you an exact ETA, but I can tell you right now, based on from what I'm seeing in the Discord chat, servers should go live soon. If not yet. Servers are down right now, though, yes. Do not believe anyone in the chat. Yo, what's up, Ben? How we doing? What's up, Liam? Hello. Thank you for the follow. Appreciate it, man. Hey, Grant, I had a really bad fall today at school. I was playing AFL, Australian sports, and I landed on my head. Oh my god. Jaden. Jeez. Are you okay? Like, do you have to go to the hospital or anything? Lucas, thank you for the 2. Hello, Grant. I hope you have an amazing day. Thank you, Lucas, for the $2 donation as well. Thank you. Mammon, thank you for the follow. Appreciate it. What's up, Peter? Guys, should we do another giveaway? Lady Gucci, hi, how are you? Elite Stronghold has been re-enabled. Oh, nice. I didn't even know that, so Max. Nice. Tay, thanks for being in the chat, by the way. If we do another giveaway, chat, that would be our 4th giveaway of the night. I'm running out of V-Bucks. How did my Fortnite go from 2 minutes left of updating to 4 minutes? Just depending on how fast your internet is, it's calculating it. What's up, Lockboy? How we doing? Thank you for the follow. Aiden with the sub on YouTube. Thank you, Aiden. Welcome to the hashtag Grant fam. Appreciate it. What up, Leon? Thank you for the follow. Yo, YouTube, can we hit 1,000 likes really quickly? Guys, can we hit 1,000 likes real quick, man? Everyone hit that like button. YouTube Shorts, I know we're not quite there, but YouTube Shorts, everyone double tap as well.
Let's try to guess how much these e-com websites built with Wix make. Pokeen.com. Okay, so Pokemon card shops. I know they do super well, especially have like all versions of the cards, like it looks like they do. Maybe like 2 million? 4.3 million. Wow. Okay, that's impressive. All right, kidsandcoffee.love. Oh, that's a cool idea. It's like an indoor playground and cafe for kids and parents. I mean, I don't know, 500K? 1.5 million. Wow, all right.
Fortnite just dropped a new update and buffed a gun that I don't think anyone was asking for. This is going to somehow make the reload loot pool even worse. I also want to talk about whatever happened in the NA Eval Cup today and why we had pros like Peterbot and Pollo just quit the tournament midway through. We also got our first chance to see how Mr. Savage was doing at Squibbly Shores, and Savage fans should be feeling pretty good. There's lots to talk about. Let's jump into it. I want to kick off talking about the balance changes in the update by reading it out to you the way that I found it out. I don't use Twitter too much unless I'm live anymore. I went live and I checked out this blog post and I thought we were going to get cube rifle nerfs because Fortnite said this: we introduced this weapon to learn more about how you like to play with a unique weapon, and we've been deliberate and thoughtful about how we want to balance it. A few weeks in, the gameplay data and community feedback are pointing in the same direction. So I was thinking, okay, community feedback. Every time I see someone talk about this gun, they're complaining about how broken it is. You know, the explosions are insane. They're gonna nerf it. The cube rifle now deals more damage, has improved accuracy, fires faster projectiles, and has increased spread while jumping and sprinting. So 3 buffs and a nerf, but the increased spread isn't really that crazy. So it's now gonna deal more damage, shoot faster, and gonna have better accuracy. I'm not really sure who in the community asked for this. Like, I really genuinely don't know. A lot of items sometimes when they get buffed and like the pro community freaks out, I'm thinking, okay, casuals must really want this weapon buffed because they're not really good at using it. But half the time I see this gun being talked about by casuals, they hate it too because it's just so unbelievably spammy. Again, this is a great clip from Realms here showing off just how obnoxious this item is to fight, even if the player you're versing isn't insane. Like, all Realms and his duo is doing here is just shooting the cube and then just shooting the cube. If you guys don't know, the cube does 70 damage when it explodes, but if you shoot it with a regular bullet from the cube rifle, it does 120. And that's what they're abusing here. So Fortnite saw this and were like, you know what? We have to buff this weapon. I have no idea how this is going to go in the play-ins because the first time we're going to see this in any competitive environment is the play-ins. Now, the play-ins is a very serious round of the Reload series. It's top 2,000 on EU, top 1,000 on NA, trying to get down to top 80. It is a very, very difficult round with a lot at stake, and that this being the first time we're going to see this buffed cube rifle is going to be an issue. On top of the fact, it's also going to be the first competitive event with the SMG cube as well, which apparently is as broken as the cube rifle, but I haven't even got a chance to see it in competitive yet. Sorry, got a little bit heated there, so I had to take my hoodie off. Again, I'm not really sure. Fortnite did say in this tweet they are looking for feedback though, and they are listening to the community. So, I mean, maybe let them know in the comments of this video or go to the Twitter post on Fortnite status and let them know what your thoughts are on the cube rifle being buffed. Again, I don't want to sway your decision. If you actually genuinely think the cube rifle AR should have been buffed and it was too weak, then by all means, go give them the feedback. I just haven't heard that sentiment a lot myself, so I'm assuming that I don't know who they talk to in the community. They did also say they're basing it off stats as well, so I'm guessing maybe the cube rifle just isn't being picked up that much, but that's often what happens with guns, even if they're really strong, if people just don't know how to use them. If a gun feels different, which this gun definitely does, it doesn't have an ADS ability, it has like a shooting cube that, like I just explained, you have to shoot to explode to deal more damage. Just whenever there's an item that's really different, we often see players just not pick it up because they don't want to adapt to the new weapon. They want to stick to what they know. So I have a feeling that Fortnite's going to realize pretty quickly how broken this gun is once we see it in a higher competitive level play, but maybe casuals genuinely think it's too weak. I actually don't know. Now let's talk about the Eval Cup. And again, Eval Cups aren't usually that important, but when you have set lobbies coming up to a LAN event, it's our first chance to see teams like Mr. Savage at their new drop spot in Squibbly. Things are kind of exciting, but unfortunately on NA, it was an absolute nightmare. Now, about 45 minutes into NA, we started to get some queue bugs. Players, once they finished their game, were kicked out of the game and they couldn't log back in. Now, this wasn't actually an Eval Cup issue. A lot of people saying, oh, it's this new server they're testing. This is a nightmare. It was actually an Amazon Web Service issue, and it took down a whole bunch of different platforms and a bunch of different games that ran into these matchmaking issues. So can't blame Fortnite for this one, but unfortunately, as usual, their communication was not great. Fortnite did tweet out saying they were aware of the queue issues, but this whole time the Eval Cup is still running. Some players are playing out games, other people can't. They then randomly added 30 minutes at the end of the tournament, but they did it 24 minutes after queues ended. So teams only had 6 minutes to get back on with their duo and ready up. Some people got into the game, some people didn't. Fortnite has still said nothing at this point. Then they decided to add another 45 minutes onto the queue randomly, and then they finally tweeted out. The problem was Fortnite didn't add any extra games, so it ended up being a 3.5 hour eval cup with only 8 games. So the finals is now a little bit off, and Fortnite did move the finals. They haven't even happened yet on NA. They're going to take place tomorrow or today as of you watching this video, and they're going to happen between the EU and NA play-ins. So teams that qualified for that are now going to have to get on and play that before they play the play-ins. Now, again, queue bugs are a thing. It's Amazon Web Services. Fortnite couldn't really fix it, but I would really love some better communication from Epic Games when the whole game is going down and having issues. I understand sometimes competitors not the biggest focus, but there are still, you know, thousands and thousands of players who are giving up their time to play the Eval Cup to test bugs. And I know people always say, Aussie, if the Eval Cup breaks, that's the whole point of the Eval Cup. Not really. I don't think it's there to test if Fortnite's going to have game-wide Amazon Web Service issues, and that if they do, us trying to figure out as a community what the hell is actually going on at the time. So at least Fortnite is rerunning the finals. They're keeping it going. They didn't cancel it. And I think the main reason for that is Fortnite really wants this finals to run so they can test the LAN servers. I already talked about it in previous videos. Fortnite has announced that this finals and the next one, they added another Eval Cup only for NA on Saturday just to test these servers. So I'm guessing that's why Fortnite was so committed to not canceling this tournament. Unfortunately, due to all these issues, we had a lot of pros just give up halfway through and stop playing. Peterbot and Poyo were on pace to qual, and they just gave up and said, screw it, I don't care, I'm not dealing with all this. We had other pros who stuck it out and tried to play the whole tournament only to just miss out on qualifying. We had Kingling and Craze come in 51st, Curly and Rise come in 52nd, Clicks and Higgs come in 53rd. We had so many big teams unfortunately miss out. The finals does still look pretty stacked. It should still be fun to watch, but it obviously would have been a lot better if it wasn't for all the queue bugs. But at least EU ran properly, and we got to see how some of our big teams are doing, including Mr. Savage at his new drop spot. Before we talk about finals, we got some questions answered in the opens. Is Mongrel sticking with Lixium? The answer is yes. He came in 331st, though, unfortunately missing out on another finals, and Mongrel at the end of it had this to say.
Introducing a revolutionary experience for developers. A great sleep score. Azure DevOps and Defender for Cloud catch security issues, so you can catch more Z's.
It can be a rude awakening when your cat has tummy troubles. Hill's Prescription Diet GI Nutrition helps support digestive upsets and other GI issues in as little as 24 hours, so you can both feel better.
Oh no, Loki got a bit demotivated recently. Like, I just need to play more, but I'm just got demotivated because I just grinded like so hard for so long and then got.
I think this is definitely fair. Obviously, a lot of Mongrel fans know how hard he grinded, and things have been on a bit of a downward trajectory since Turtle dropped him, but I do still believe and have faith that Mongrel can bring it back. He did also admit that a lot of the issues they had in opens, I wasn't able to actually watch it, were his own fault. He said, look, this is on Lixium. I didn't play well today, so hopefully they do well tomorrow in play-ins, and that brings up the vibes. They weren't the only team that missed out. These aren't real teams. We do get a bit of an answer on what Queasy's doing. Queasy decided to queue up the Eval Cup alongside Fredoxy, and they came 208th, which, hey, not too bad. I was going to say two of the unks. I feel like Fred, I do kind of love him in that category of being old a whole bunch when he's just not, but Queasy and Fred getting 208th, not a bad performance. Did do better than Veno and Pixie, who came 318th, but again, this is Veno just playing with other people until Curve gets to EU, and I believe this should have been their last tournament. As far as I'm aware, Curve will be playing the play-ins today on EU ping, which is going to be very, very exciting to see. Now, taking a look at finals, and while unfortunately they didn't get a win, Mr. Savage and Velo did show a lot of signs of life out of Squibbly. They were supposed to be uncontested. They ended up getting either double or triple conned every game. Their first game with two other teams at Squibbly, they managed to drop a 10 elim third. They were looking unbelievably strong. The rest of their games did go a little bit worse. They got a 28th, 36th, and 47th, which is a huge shame, but they did show the potential of the drop. I think they do still plan to go there in day 2 of Summit, depending on whether Pete qualifies through or not. Mr. Savage also taking advantage of what has been not really a secret buff. Some people are aware of this, but Squibbly has gotten even stronger now with the golden fishing spots. Not the only POI that has this. I believe Acorn Mountain also has 2 of these golden fishing holes. Squibbly has 2, and I believe Latte Landing has 1 of them. I'm going to try and figure out where all of these are pretty soon because they are actually a huge buff to these different POIs. you have an insane chance of getting the Midas flopper. I have never seen this many Midas floppers in my life. Mr. Savage actually getting one in the finals and then accidentally used it to pop white health, which was a bit unfortunate, but if they don't give you the Midas flopper, they also give you gold weapons, purple weapons, slurpfish. They are unbelievably strong, and I think that is going to be a nice little buff for Peterbot coming into LAN and any other POI that can abuse these. Taking a look at the teams that did do well in finals, we got to see Chap and Flixie at their new old drop spot. They used to drop down this area of the map a whole bunch a few seasons ago, but they are back at New Sanctuary now, and they are doing very well. They got an 8 Elim win in game number 3 and a 5 Elim 8th in game number 4. Vico Malibuka also bringing home a 9 Elim win in game number 2 and a 7 Elim 7th in game number 4. Podesai and Sato got an 8 Elim win, a 3 Elim 4th, and a 3 Elim 10th. And then we also had Sky and Scroll getting a 9 Elim win and a 6 Elim 5th, which is actually a bit of an underperformance by Sky and Scroll's usual standards. Only 1 win and a 5th place. They still looked really good. Nebs and Nathan proving yet again why I am convinced if they were unconned at LAN or they can somehow make Muzz not make it to finals, this is literally a top 5 team right now. When they're contested, sadly, they just don't look anywhere near as strong. But when uncontested, they got a 2 Elim 8th, an 8 Elim 2nd, a 4 Elim 6th, and a 3 Elim 6th, looking very, very strong. Another team that did quite well but didn't get a win, and you can't blame them. They only played 2 of their 4 matches, was Focus and Thomas, getting a 1 Elim 4th and a 5 Elim 9th. Unfortunately, again, Focus, I believe, is the one having issues, just didn't load into 2 out of the 4 games, which does really suck. Remember, if you guys want to see how broken this new cube rifle is, swing by my Twitch or YouTube stream. I'll be live all day watching the play-ins and the EVAL Cup, and I think it's going to be a banger of a day.
Imagine being able to build anything just by thinking about it. Meet Base 44, a complete AI creation platform made for anyone with an idea and a drive to bring it to life. Describe what you want and watch it take shape. You can plan, customize, and expand in any direction. From tools built for one to platforms ready for many. From passion projects to enterprise-grade systems. Everything is built in and ready to launch. It's a new world of creation, where you can go as far as your imagination takes you. Can you imagine it? Let's make your dream a reality right now.
Face it, you don't sound like a veteran space raider. No one believes your
war voice.
And that's why you need voice mod.
Sound off with a voice that matches your main.
Or assemble and deploy your best audio memes with the perfect timing. Whether you want to speak with a realistic
Battlefield radio voice
or clear up your comms with the voice enhancer, our app works with any gamer app that supports voice chat. Download voice mod and become whoever you want.
$65 kill win. Trios is back, baby. Pete, Rise, and Poyo. I just realized this is the roommate trio. These 3 actually all live together. I can only imagine what the comms sounded like. I know they did all stream it as well, so you can go watch that gameplay if you want, but this is I just checked, this is a 15-minute game. They dropped 65 kills in 15 minutes. So we're about to have the most dopamine-inducing, fast-paced React video I've ever done. So let's see how we go here. I'll do my best to catch as much of the action as possible, but I'm going to miss a lot of kills here. As we are heavily contested, we're going Riptides. Now, Peterbot and Poyo do go Riptides a lot in opens when it's the legendary drop. Who's going to get the first kill? Poyo's only got a gray AR. Rise already got the purple burst and the iron pump. Or Rise with the tech. Okay, that did not go at all how we planned, but it worked. That's definitely not what we meant to do. Poyo managed to get that knock, and then Pete gets the finish. So right now, Pete's only player without a kill. Poyo gets his second. Poyo takes the lead. Pete does get a knock, though. What is happening? I'm honestly not prepared to be able to watch this. We'll see how we go. I'm going to have to bring out my racehorse casting for this. Poyo's going for a pickaxe. Poyo has no ammo. Poyo has no ammo. Poyo just pickaxed the kid because he has no ammo. What is happening? All right, this is about to be the greatest React video I've ever filmed. I don't even care. This is Skin Cup. And of course, Pete's off getting the mythic pump. How do we already have a mythic pump? Poyo literally has no bullets. Poyo's out here pickaxing bitches and Pete has a mythic pump shotgun. checks out. Oh, wait, P's not hitting with a mythic pump though. Wait a second. Wednesday Adams putting us down right now. Rise gets good beams with a burst SMG. Poyo's gonna have to cross angle. P needs to start putting that mythic pump to work right now. My man has the best gun in the game and he's not using it. Still on 0 kills. Peterbot on the donut. 5 kills to Poyo. 3 kills to Rise. 0 kills to Peterbot. And we have claimed Riptides. I mean, it's right. He's the IGL. He's fine. And he gets the gold combat AR as well. The loadout not matching the contribution to this game so far. We'll see, though. Let's look at the timelines. Okay, Pete definitely starts to get some kills, though. My man gets some kills. All right. Rise gets some kills, too. Poyo gets all the kills. Okay, so I'm guessing Pete Poyo get the most kills. We're going to see. But like, as that timeline says, 17-minute game, and that includes the spawn island.
Your perfect domain is out there. Go to Wix and make it yours. Claim your space online. Own your name, your brand, your breakthrough. And the rest just clicks. It all starts with a domain. What's yours?
So the length of the buzz starting and this game ending was about 15 minutes. Pete took both shotguns. All right, he's going to use the zip line. Poyo, not dealing with any of the loot shenanigans. My man's just going to get out of here. Oh, wait. What is happening? We're assembling on the zip lines right now. Wait, we're running triple zip line? Triple zip line. I love this. Pete tries to be a bit fancy with it. Tries to shockwave off the balloon. I don't even know if that's possible. Dude, this poor kid right now. This guy's about to fight the Avengers. Honestly, a pretty good example of what it looks like to fight Pete, Poyo, and Rise. And Pete gets his first kill. Pete gets a kill onto Rare Dylan. 25 teams, 65 players. We got a bit of an insight in what it looks like to fight this trio. And unfortunately, that's usually how it goes for the enemy. All right, we're going to rotate through Battlewood. There's quite a few trios here in Battlewood. We have an XET member in here. This is also on West, it is worth mentioning. So all these guys are on about 50 ping right now. Not that it's going to matter. There's still a skin cup with 3 of the best players in the world. Pete's trying to get PC now. Surely the first kill. Oh, there we go. Oh, wait. Poyo jumps in, though, and almost takes it. Pete does a bunch of damage. Rise gets another kill. Rise putting on a show right now. Poyo also gets the finish there. So Peterbot's still on the 1 single kill right now. Pete trying to take down Juanito, and he does it. The Mythic Pump gets put to use. 6-5-2. All right, another team here inside Battlewood. Trying to get some beams going off the zipline. Based on the fact that these players hit none of the shots off the zipline, I'm not really very hopeful. And oh my god, they are getting deleted. Where's the teammate? Where's the last solo? It's Prime Matteo. He's got this. Just hide, son. Just hide. Don't move. Don't make any noise. Just take your free second. Just go to dead side. Sit in a bush. Oh, they aren't even going to look for him. Honestly, it's not really worth the time spent looking for him. So we've got 15 kills on the board right now. 15 down, 50 to go. They killed 50 of the next 53. I'm assuming people must reboot because that is ridiculous. Oh, we got a player on top of the rooftop right now. Here we go. Let's see how long he lasts. He's got this. You got this, champ. He did not have this. He's trying to even build. Poyo's chasing down the teammate, though. What is the movement right now? What am I watching? Oh my god, we just took down Buttman God. What is happening? What am I doing with my life? I'm going to skip and replays because some of the players' names aren't showing. All right, Peterbot, Poyo, and Rise being put through their paces right now. They've taken down the Buttman God. Who is next? Who are we going to take down next? We're using the zip lines to great effect right now to get across the map nice and quickly. Oh, we're getting beamed right now. Poyo has to drop off the zip line. That gives Peterbot the advantage to kind of get in this one. Rise is actually going to get first chance. This team's going to try and run inside the tunnels. I got to stop him from getting inside the tunnels. Otherwise, it's going to be a lot more annoying. The enemy puts himself inside a cone. Pete's trying to get PC with it. This player is just not building. A Pete goes down. Spooks boxed you. He did. Spooks did box him. Rise there to back him up, though. This is the teammate. This is the camaraderie I expect right now from the roommate trios. Mr. Ray goes down. And Peterbot has fallen. Doesn't get finished, but Pete, the first player to get knocked in this game. Well, he also has the least amount of kills. A little bit concerned right now. Not sure what's happening here. This is not the Pete we're used to seeing. Then again, we did watch the Clicks game. And Clicks started off slow and finished very strong. We'll see whether Pete can do that. He's still got that mythic Iron Pump. They're all running Iron Pump, which is interesting. I would think the Iron Pump is definitely better in trios. This was also before the update, so the Chaos Reloaded bug wasn't fixed yet, but... Okay, the Iron Pump looking very good right now. Banana Man on the run. Peterbot, meanwhile, though, spots the fact that another target's getting pushed. Poyo trying to take down Karumi. Poyo tries to get the piece. Doesn't quite need the piece controller. This player's out in the open, and there Poyo finds it. Rise isn't able to get in quick enough. Poyo's still got that lead, but Peterbot's closing the gap on Rise. 6, 7, 10 right now. Peterbot's not going to be too happy being kills behind Rise, though. Trying to look for people back here in Storm. There is a trio out here. Never mind, I was about to say Peterbot rotating straight towards them, but Voodoo gets picked up by Poyo. Poyo really putting in the elims right now. The duo's pretty far away, and look at the skin fit. Oh my, this is about to be the trio, chat. All right, guess right now, what does this team place? I'm gonna guess
Tired of having to stream in 720p in StreamYard or having to pay more to get 1080p quality? We got you. Start using EVMux, which is a web-based live streaming tool that allows you to be able to stream and record in 1080p Full HD completely for free. Go to evmux.com and create your free account today.
Creating custom clothing with TapStitch is simple. Start by choosing a garment, then click Design Now. On the left, you'll see 4 main tools. Upload lets you add your artwork or logo. For the best results, upload PNG or JPG files that are at least 1024 pixels wide and 150 dpi. Text lets you add your brand name or any message to your design. Adjust the font, size, and color to match your design. Image gives you access to a built-in library of graphics and icons. Under Product, you'll see the print method and reference size. Your design automatically scales across all garment sizes from XS to 2XL. Everything updates in real time. There's no need to wait for proofs or revisions. With TapStitch, you can go from idea to ready to order in minutes. You have full control over every detail: sizing, placement, layering, and alignment. Understand your printing method. TapStitch uses professional printing methods to deliver high-quality results. Each garment is optimized for a specific method. Direct-to-garment, DTG printing, uses water-based ink to print directly onto the fabric for a soft, natural feel. Direct-to-film, DTF, transfers your design onto the garment for bold, crisp graphics with a slightly raised texture. Adjusting your layout, you control the size, placement, and rotation of every element. Drag your design anywhere inside the dotted print area. Resize using the corner handles, or enter exact dimensions in pixels, inches, or centimeters. Rotate or flip your design until it looks just right. Designing both sides, use the front-back toggle to customize each view, layers, alignment, and control. TapStitch makes it easy to manage multiple design elements. Use alignment guides to snap artwork to the center or edges. Drag and drop layers to reorder them. Lock layers to keep them fixed while adjusting others. You can also adjust grid settings and opacity to align elements more precisely. Removing backgrounds. First, make sure your artwork has a clean background. If there's any unwanted background color remaining, it will be printed onto your garment. You can clean your file before uploading or use TapStitch's one-click background removal tool. Print preview. Before saving, check the preview print area. The red mask shows exactly what will be printed. Look for stray pixels or transparency issues.
Tap Stitch also flags potential problems while you design. Resolution alerts appear in the right panel. If your image is too low resolution for printing, if needed, upload a larger file or use the Enhanced Image tool to improve print quality. To see all warnings, click the Issues icon in the lower left corner. Live mockups. Your mockup updates instantly as you design. You'll always see exactly how the final garment will look. All uploaded artwork is saved in your design library so you can reuse it across other products. No proofs, no back and forth. Just instant visual feedback.
Fortnite finally told us what they were testing with the EVAL Cup, and while it wasn't a minimum ping, it was actually East servers on NA. But if you're from the East Coast, don't get too excited. There's more to the story. We also have some huge teams missing out on the Div Cup finals, but also some big names making it in. Clicks and Higgs may be contested on NA. We get to see Savage at Squibbly for the first time. Shark and Teeny are contested yet again, but this is shaping up to be an absolute banger of a finals. We also have some huge loot pool changes to Reload I want to talk about because these are much needed changes coming into the Elite Series. There's a lot to talk about. Let's jump into it. I want to kick off today's video with news that's like a couple days old, but I didn't make a video from day one. We now have an explanation of what was going on during the EVAL Cup a few days ago. Fortnite wasn't testing a minimum ping, but they were testing something. They tweeted out, to clarify the intent of the last NAC performance evaluation, we were testing new LAN servers at Epic HQ for the FNCS Summit. This week's performance evaluation will have the same setup, plus we're adding another one on Saturday at 12 p.m. ET. So that is why it felt like players are playing on servers on the East Coast, because they technically were. Fortnite was then testing their LAN servers. They were doing it from their headquarters in North Carolina, but the point is not them adding back East servers. Like I said, I told you, I want East servers as much as you guys do. I think it would make Fortnite a lot better, and it would make my schedule personally a lot better, but that's not what Fortnite was testing. They were just running their LAN servers from their headquarters. You're probably wondering, what do you mean running LAN servers? So when Fortnite goes to a LAN event, they actually take, PCs or a private server they run the games on to make sure it's zero ping. Like Dusseldorf, for example. Germany has really good ping, but Dusseldorf technically isn't zero ping. The servers are in Frankfurt, Germany. So the ping would be low, and Fortnite has run events in the past at LAN on the public servers, but recently for the last few years, for the last few LAN events, Fortnite runs them on their own private servers on like a private version of the game, which makes it have basically no delay. And Fortnite...
I am Noah. My job is your life. Find a convenient way to die.
Welcome back, Pioneer. For the sake of all our sleeping friends, we have to learn how to survive. Good luck.
No one wants to talk about how we got here. All you need to know is, it's a beautiful place to die over and over again.
We've set up a lab here with a few basic biomods. They're safe. But if you start to hear voices, or if you get the urge to swim to the tree, don't go.
Forget your debt. Forget Noah. Forget Altera. Forget the life you imagined. It's all gone now. You're going to die here. And that's all right. Pick the most interesting thing you can see and explore. Wouldn't that set you free? And I know where this mission will end. You'll join us soon enough.
As a tech founder, you start scrappy. You have to, and I live that. Pull 2 on-editors in a weekend to launch Cody Decks and make sure it was live. I thought of Azure as what only the huge enterprises use, but I learned that its power and resources were amazing for a startup like ours. Teaching the next generation of technologists is why I started COTHNG. There are lots of videos on the platform featuring our team, but they take